Once again, welcome aboard. It's a little bit of a late broadcast. Usually broadcasts are done for the early morning, especially for Eastern and Western Europe. As we all know, ADX is global, so it's good to make sure that I do some late broadcasts as well for Australia and New Zealand and some of East Asia. So at the moment, just trying to catch up with a lot of the products that were released over the last few weeks. Haven't done many streams lately. As I said, I had one earlier today, and we showed off Saint kits from Taxi to Gate. Today we're going to be taking a look at Fort de France on the island of Martinique. And after that, we'll be heading over to LatinVFR's latest release, released today, as a matter of fact, and that's Roatan, and that's over in the Western Caribbean, actually. So we'll be heading from the east to the west, so all Caribbean sceneries today. So we are on the ground now at Martinique, released by Taxi to Gate, and if I'm not mistaken, this was actually released. When was this released? A few days ago. So again, a very, very recent release from TropicalSim. And this particular airport was actually a favorite of mine for quite a long period of time. In FS9, the guys from TropicalSim did their Martinique scenery. And why don't I have any sound here? Let's see. There we go. I'll turn on a little helicopter there. So yeah, LatinVFR were the first to come down and tackle these islands. In fact, they had actually done Saint Martin and Saint Barthélemy as well, but those lost their popularity quickly once Fly Tampa came along and made their own versions. Actually, looks like the coastlines here are a little wanky. I think that might be a clash between the coverage area and FTX Global, looks like. When we took a look at St. Kitts earlier today, there were some issues with the coastlines as well. So I wonder if it's a compatibility issue. That's something I'm going to have to look into a little bit further. But that obviously that doesn't look very good. I'll have to see what's going on with that. So yeah, LatinVFR had covered these islands. As we know, Taxi to Gate recently released Les Risettes, and that was also covered by LatinVFR as well. And I guess for their time, the LatinVFR airfields were not bad. Why aren't we full screen either? Just noticed that as well. That's a little bit better. So yeah, so the LatinVFR airports weren't bad for their time, but they begin to show their age fairly quickly as other developers begin to pick up their game. And actually, I just realized my laptop is not plugged in. I better plug that in. So the good thing about the LatinVFR sceneries was the land class. Especially the way they created the autogen for the airports was very good. The airports themselves never had AES. Oliver, for some reason, I guess, just ignored them, even though they had separate jet bridges and all that stuff. But they just never got the AES support, unfortunately. So after a while, I did use them briefly in prepared version 1. But because the topography was really designed for FS9, it never really showed up very good in FSX or prepared. So eventually I just had to give them up and hope that someone would eventually turn around and come back and develop them. And lo and behold, Taxi to Gate did one, and now we have the second one by TropicalSim. The topography still looks better in FS9 just by the way that LatinVFR did it, because LatinVFR is just, they're very good at what they do. And even back in the days of FS9, they were very good at what they did. So here it's not as good as it looked in FS9, believe it or not. Not referring to the airport itself, but just referring to the land class. They did a much better job at it, because that's what they specialize in. They're not very good at doing airports, but what they really are good at is definitely doing those land class type sceneries and VFR automation and 3D automation rather, and all that cool stuff. Got to plug in my laptop really quickly. Noticing these tarmacs are like really shiny, isn't it? Or is that just me? Give me 1 second here to plug in before my battery goes out. I didn't realize that. That's better. Yeah, that tarmac is actually pretty shiny looking. Gliclio is on board. Welcome aboard. Pratt P. What is that? Pratt PT6. Welcome. Rolio is back. Welcome back, Rolio. And yes, the frames are. Pratt was noting the frames. Yeah, the frames are actually really high, bouncing back and forth in the 60s. But that's one of the great things about flying around doing these island hops in the Caribbean is usually you get higher than usual frames anyway, because when you're flying over water between sceneries, frames are always going to be higher over water because there's just no autogen to have to worry about. So one of the things I noticed is it doesn't look like they added any fences around the airfield. I don't know if there's fences there in real life or not, but they certainly didn't put any out here. And noticing, anyone else noticing stuttering textures here? Stuttering ramp textures? Runway textures? That's odd. I actually don't see it now, but I did see it a minute ago. Oh, there it is. So I'm wondering if maybe there's another AVCAD under here somewhere that I need to remove. Boy, that's shiny, isn't it? It's like brand new. So some custom trees. Actually, these look like FSX trees, don't they? But just hand placed onto the photo terrain. Yeah, I think there's another runway showing under there. I think I might have a dupe AVCAD. That's not very good. I'm assuming that's what it is. If we start seeing any double buildings, we'll know for sure. Heading over to the little GA area here. Oh, this is pretty bad. You know what? Let me just take a quick look and see if I have a duplicate AVCAD here somewhere. This is looking really bad. Let me see here. Hang on 1 second. I hate to do this because this always screws up the... Let me just take a quick look and see if there are any duplicate AVCADs and prepared anywhere. Sorry about this. Sometimes I'm looking at it for the first time the same as you guys are, so... Let's see... BMP files, autogen files. Let's see, TropicalSim, CBX. What folder is this in? And yep, this is part of TropicalSim, so that is where that belongs. Photo P3D V2. Where is this? Yep, again, that's TropicalSim. And I'm assuming this is as well. TropicalSim, yep. So why are we looking at these crazy stutters? AFX, what is this? Yep, that's right. Let's see. What is all this stuff? I think this is still part of it. Yep. Well, I'm certainly not seeing any duped AFCAT, so I'm not really sure what that's all about. We'll just have to roll with the punches, and I'll have to look into this later. That's not very good, though. So definitely some very clean looking ground textures there. Actually, ground textures look really good. This is have some really dynamic specular shine on them. Minus the stuttering ground textures, which obviously is something that can be corrected. No fences at the airport. That's something that I usually pick apart in my reviews. The guys at TropicalSim actually know this, so I'm actually surprised. I might have gotten on their case about that before, but they're usually pretty good at putting in fences and stuff. No parking lot textures, but a few cars down there. And heading over to the cargo area. More stuttering textures. Lots of unit load devices on the ground over there. Some loaders, belt loaders, container loaders, random GSC. Air Caribbees hangar. Let's head back over there and take a quick look. So the FTX Global in the background doesn't look bad. You can see there's a lot of autogen and stuff out there. Although I liked it better, again, in FS9, the VFR France guys had some really nice photo terrain that covered those mountains. And they looked far more realistic. The most I could hope for is that Orbix eventually getting their Open LC, their Open Land Class product, to cover the Caribbean. I think that would be a good thing. Let's see. Pratt is saying, could it be P3D's latest patch? Maybe. But I haven't noticed stuttering anywhere else yet. So, if that's in reference to the stutters, I don't know though. Earlier, I did have this crazy error message that kept popping up because of an incompatibility, and I actually found out what that was, and that was the Flight 1 instant scenery tool that was doing that. So I just deactivated it, wait for them to make an update. And just sort of getting up close here. They really didn't go with the internal modeling route, but they did add transparent glass, which is still a very nice feature. You can see on the inside of the terminal building there's some nice advertisements on the walls. You can kind of see into the bag room underneath a little bit. And it's interesting, this airport really reminds me of the Le Reset in terms of some of the architecture, how it's done, which is very similar to what Taxi to Gate did. So they didn't really go the full internal modeling route, but I think they found a very good trade-off. Some photoreal textures along with transparent glass, which looks really nice. Got some nice ads on the jet bridges. Digicel, which I assume is the local telecom company down there. Once we come around on this side, you can kind of see that there's some fencing and stuff over here. Sort of the logistics part of the airport. And Once again, the parking lot doesn't have any parking lot textures as far as ground textures goes, so it looks like cars are parked on dirt. Again, this is one area that I've been known to rip some developers apart. I mean, because there's no parking, you know, parking lot lines or roads or anything, nothing that can really be made out. Again, a lot of people probably wouldn't care, but it's something that I try to encourage developers to do as part of creating a more complete looking product. You can see where some of the roads were actually put in here, sort of, kind of. Nice trees, crosswalks, barriers. And nice buses. And actually, it looks like they have improved the quality of some of their cars too, which is nice. Whoa, what happened to... Oh, yeah, you got some nice trees and bushes and stuff coming out of some of these concrete barriers. Oop, trying to get low so we can take a look. Ah, boosh. Sorry. Just trying to take a look at these trees down here. That's a nice little touch, making sure they give it a nice tropical feel. Oh, those ramp textures are bloody shiny though. And heading over to some of the logistics areas now. Pretty nice quality textures on some of the buildings. And for the most part, not too much to see. I mean, these Caribbean airports are fairly small, so. And certainly, this airport is certainly a welcome sight from the old LatinVFR sceneries. You've been working a lot on their 3D automation technology in France. It would be nice if they headed back down to the islands and work their magic down here again too. I think that'd be awesome. Although I'm not expecting that to come anytime in the near future. Let's go to a quick high elevation, take a look at the coverage area and the photo terrain. And Panga for you is back. Welcome. What does that mean anyway? Panga for you. And here you can see that unlike Taxi the Gate, that keeps their coverage areas really mostly surrounding the airport. They don't just do the airport. They do tend to come outside of the airport boundary a bit, but TropicalSim seems to go a whole lot further outside of the coverage area. Their coverage areas seem to be a lot bigger. As you can see here, the coverage area is actually pretty big, and I'm not even sure if the coverage area is covering the entire town out there, so I think that's something I'm going to have to go take a look at. But you can easily see where the transition is from the coverage area and where the open, or rather the FTX Global resumes. So TropicalSim actually, they actually added a huge coverage area. A lot of hand-placed autogen. Although, I don't know if I like the color. The color should be greener, I would like to think. It looks a little brownish. I wonder if I change the time and season really quickly, just out of curiosity. Let's see, this is set to summer. Let's say if we go to spring. I'm just curious if it goes to a greener color or if that really is just the one color. I mean, I wouldn't imagine they'd have different seasons because it's tropical environment. There really aren't different seasons. But here it kind of looks like winter textures, you know, like winter in the UK without snow. It should actually look a little bit greener, I would think. Whoa, what the hell? Never saw that before. Did you guys see that? Okay, so yeah, I don't really think I like the ground textures all that much. It just seems too brownish, not really green enough. Seems kind of dark. If you look at the FTX Global, it's a little bit greener. I feel like the coverage area here should be a little greener. Here the colors look a little faded. Obviously a very big difference when you look at FTX Global. You can see the line there where it just divides the two right down the center. There's that, and then the coastlines, which don't seem to be getting along too well. And yeah, so it looks like the coverage area does cover the entire town. First I was thinking all this outage was part of FTX Global, but now taking a look at it from here, you can see that it's actually part of the it is actually part of the coverage area. I actually don't have my track IR on at the moment, but that's okay. Met747, welcome aboard. Mets, I'm actually just trying to catch up on a lot of the new releases that I missed over the last couple of weeks. So today I'm hitting up the Caribbean because there were 3 Caribbean airports released in the last week or so. We had St. Kitts from Taxi to Gate, which I previewed in the stream earlier today. Today we're taking a look at Martinique from TropicalSim, and then after this we're going to head over to Roatan, which was released today from LatinVFR. So 3 Caribbean islands all released in a period of a week. So obviously there's a lot of interest going on in the Caribbean as of late. So today, or actually right now, we're actually just looking at the Martinique scenery from TropicalSim. And Plucrio says, I have a problem with Taxi to Gate Mexico City Airport. When taxiing to the runway, it says I crashed on the invisible. Something is annoying. You know how to fix it? Well, I can tell you that if you have crash detection turned on, I would turn that off. I don't use crash detection, and I never fly with it, because certain developers and certain sceneries, the way they model their sceneries, is that there are, in other words, in order to elevate certain parts of an airport, or if there's taxi bridges or something like that, they have to sort of manipulate the scenery in order to develop the airports the way that they want them done. So as a result, Flight Simulator doesn't really properly acknowledge these little hacks and tweaks that developers have to do. So when you're in your aircraft and you happen to come over one of these areas, and if it crashes your plane, that's why. So the best thing that I would recommend you do is just turn off crash detection. I never use it because that happens to me all the time. There's a lot of different airports where developers have had to modify certain things outside of the parameters of the Flight Simulator in order to get certain things to work for the scenery. And everything will work fine, but if you have crash detection on, the simulator will just assume that you're somewhere where you probably shouldn't be, or will assume that you've gone off the runway or something like that, because it doesn't recognize it, and it will likely just assume that you've crashed the plane. So if your crash detection is on, I would turn that off, see if that fixes your problem. And Met747 says, the Caribbean is a beautiful place. I've traveled there multiple times, and the sceneries are almost exact. Well, that's good to know. I've actually never been to the Caribbean. I have never been. I've got some family that are huge fans of cruises. I'm not really a cruise fan myself. You can't get me on a ship with 3,000, 4,000 other people and stuck out there for weeks on, and I can't do it. So as a result, I've never really been on a cruise ship. I haven't been to the Caribbean, but I really would like to go. There are some places in the Caribbean that are really, really appealing to me, so I really need to make that effort rather sooner than later. So as we can see, TropicalSim, they actually really did take the time and put in the entire city, and that's all custom hand-placed autogen, so that's very nice. Pleased to see that. You have the docks there, a couple ships. So definitely a lot of effort that went into this one. Is my ocean water not animating or what? Why does my ocean look like it's so perfectly still, like static? Out of curiosity, let's just get closer to that ocean water. Something doesn't look right. Or maybe I'm just too high above it to tell that it's moving. Well, something still doesn't look quite right with my ocean water. It was looking better earlier. I don't know why it's looking all staticky like that, though. You can see it's sort of animating. Something doesn't quite look right there, though. I'll have to figure that out later. So, in a nutshell, very large coverage area. Not just the airport, not just the immediate surroundings of the airport, but it looks like they have really included a huge coverage area. In fact, in order to get an idea of how big that coverage area is, just take a moment and slew above the island here so we can try to get a better look. Wait for our little helicopter to catch up with us here. So that gives us, I think, a pretty decent idea of how big the coverage area really is. I appreciate the huge photo terrain coverage. I think they did a great job with that, especially with the autogen. I just feel like it's a little dark. I don't know. And the green sort of appears like a slightly faded green. It's like it lacks a vibrance to it. It doesn't look very vibrant. So, and we noted some coastline issues, and we also noted some funky stutters too. I'll have to find out what's going on with that. Let's take a minute and take a look at the night lighting. Where is it? It is called Time Preview. There it is. I guess switching to this time of day, it's a little bit brighter in the day now, can get us maybe something of a better idea of the textures now. I think that was early morning, actually, what we're on now. So I guess going to more of a midday, I guess it looks a little bit better. Certainly the airport area, you can see along the runway it's more green, and as it moves outward it gets to a more kind of a faded yellow greenish color, and then, you know, like dark brown sort of. And let's see, let's start to switch to some of these night lighting here. See what the night lighting looks like from above. Night lights don't look bad. Need to get closer to ground and take a look at that runway lighting as well. Let's see, we'll just slew it down a little bit. So you can see the ramp area gets some nice lighting. Let's take a look at those the runway approach. And I can see there's a few questions there. I'll get to your questions shortly. So there, I think I saw a question about the rec setting. I'll be happy to pull up recs for you so we can take a look, because I don't actually remember off the top of my head. Rex has so many settings, it's not even funny. Alright, so there's really no lead-in approach or chase lighting. I assume that's how it is with the real airport. The runway lights altogether don't really seem all that bright. Although I do assume that this airport does operate at night. There's not much lighting to it, to be honest. Some simple runway lighting. There's no center lights as well. And looking over at the taxi, there's no taxi lighting. I think there's edge lighting. I can see some edge lighting on the taxiway. Let's get a little closer to the ground. But I don't see any center line taxiway lighting here. Okay, so yeah, getting a little closer to the ground here. So have those stutters. So there is some edge lighting, but no center lights. Take a look at the GA area, the control tower. Head back over to the main apron. See what the full night lighting looks like here. What is this green? It looks kind of odd. That sort of green color. I'm assuming that's supposed to be the way the lights are splashing on the tarmac. It looks kind of odd though. Alright, and we'll take a look at the full night lighting, take a look at your questions, and we'll head over to the next destination. So, full night lighting, not bad. Minus this sort of greenish texture on the tarmac. I'm not really sure what to make of that. This yellow, not green, but yeah, like a yellow-green color. That looks kind of odd. I guess maybe it serves as a place so you know where to pull up your aircraft. Alright, we'll take a quick look at some questions here, in case I didn't miss anything. And Pluto says he always has crash detection off and has the same issue. Well, I would definitely reach out to Taxi to Gate and see if they can have a look at that. I don't really know. That's weird. Rolio says uncheck allow collision with other aircraft as well. So, perhaps. Okay, and this is P3D V2.4, by the way. And Pratt says, is it worth going from P3D to FSX? I guess it's up to you, but I can certainly say for me, it was, you know, I used FSX for a short while, and I kept quitting because it was just too many issues. I always felt it to be unstable for me. And Prepared, I never seem to have issues, and when I do, they tend to have temporary updates, or they have just straight out fixes that they do that they're pretty quick at getting around to. So Prepared has become quite a stable platform, and I'm very happy with it. Gonna switch to window mode because I need to know the code for the airport that we're going to next. By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, our global airports map is really growing. Take a look at that. That's incredible. I mean, that is just amazing. So for the folks out there that really assisted in helping this become a reality, it's amazing. And this is probably, if I had to guess, maybe 60 or 70% through all the paper airports that are out there. So there's still a long way to go. But anyway, I needed to refer to this because, and this tells you why this map is so great, is because I can't think of the iCal code for the airport, which I think is this one right here. So right now, at the moment, we are here on Martinique. So that's where we are now, and now we're going to head over to the west of the Caribbean to another island up here, which is Roatan. There's a nice, cute little picture there. And let's see, does the link work? Let's try clicking the link. And it should take us to LatinVFR's airport. And there it is. So 14 euros for this airport. So this is where we are heading now. As a matter of fact, and this is great because you can get all this straight off the AirDailyX website. So again, still a lot to do. And just also, for kicks and giggles, let's just find out how much Martinique is. Martinique is 18 euro. So right around the same. So that map is just, it's getting better and better. Okay, but I needed the iCal code, didn't I? So we have Mike Hotel Romeo Oscar. And was there any more questions with this airport? Okay, so I think it was Mike Hotel Romeo Oscar. Roatan. And we are off. There we go. Take a look at any questions here. Panga for you says, it was for me. My performance increased from 23 to 65 FPS, and DX11 is amazing. I can't be sure you'll experience a frame rate increase though, as each case is different. Yeah, and of course there's always the usual concern about PMDG. I guess they'll get there when they get there. Oops, went up to the time preview. We need to go back to daytime, don't we? Very nice. Okay, there we go. Yes, we will apply the preview time. Let's get rid of that and go back to the simulator. Ooh, those are some funky artifacts. Just noticing that after the new update. Frame rates still seem to be about the same in the 60s. We're now at LatinVFR's Roatan. And now we really get to see the green textures that I would have liked to have seen over at Martinique. This is the green that I'm talking about. This is more of how it should look. More of a greeny tropical color. Oh, this is like a perfect square here, isn't it? What's going on there? Some animated birds flying into my rotor. And this actually, whoa, these damn birds are everywhere. This actually looks really good. This is really more of a tropical looking island. This is much of a difference. We'll take a look at this, a little bit of the surrounding areas. I wonder if they did the entire island. I guess that's a good question. That's what I'd like to know. One AirDailyX reader, Jordan, mentioned that if he had the money, he'd buy this little house here, so he could be right underneath the approach and just watch airplanes come in all day. I mean, look at that. That's literally right under the approach too. It's very nice. cruise ship there. Wow, this island looks really good. I'm rather impressed. In fact, I'm just going to hit the pause button real quick here and try to see if I can turn my Trek IR on. Give me 1 second. Let's see, center key and pause. There we go. And now we can kind of get a look around this island. Wow, this actually looks really good. See, now this is more of how a tropical island should look. So you can see how it's much more green, whereas the TropicalSim airport, the photo terrain kind of had more of a faded look to it, which I didn't like. But here, definitely the colors are much more green, much more tropical in appearance. So this is definitely how the Caribbean should look. And quite frankly, I applaud the choice. And I think one of the things that Ricardo was mentioning with this airport is that it looks like you know, the Caribbean is obviously really starting to come together now in Flight Simulator. And a lot of the developers have seemingly stuck with sort of the eastern, more popular part of the Caribbean. So I guess when they were thinking about where they should go next, the thought was, well, there doesn't seem to be too much going on the western part of the Caribbean, so they decided that their next airport would take them west. And I definitely think that was a pretty good call. It's definitely a very good looking island here. And it's very green, so it definitely has much more of a tropical appearance, a tropical feel to it. And yeah, wow, that's a long island. Boy, did they do the whole island? That's a fairly long island there. Do I dare go that far? And Met says, private island and being able to watch planes 24/7, sign me up. Wow, that island really stretches off pretty far off in the distance, doesn't it? It's amazing how much more geographically inclined I become with following developments for Flight Simulator. I mean, I kid you not, a couple of days ago I didn't even know this island existed. So this is what sort of piques my interest. And another thing I'll notice too is the water masking and photoreal application in the waterways as well. So very well done for LatinVFR. And LatinVFR actually has 2 teams of them. They snuck up on us twice this year. First one was Viru, which was released, was that last month or month before last? And they snuck up on us with that airport. And then they snuck up with this one today and then released it, or rather they snuck up on us yesterday and then released it today. So really good for those guys, really good. So the quality of the photo terrain, the hand-placed autogen, everything just looks fantastic. I think I'm going to enjoy flying out here. I think LatinVFR's own San Diego actually is probably a good starting point. Can hop in the NGX and head out from San Diego. That seems like a really good flight. And there's our airport and our little island again. Nice little swimming pool. What is that in the water there? There's something in the water. Are those dolphins? You guys see that? I'm going to come around here. I tell you, LatinVFR has come a long way, and they are definitely getting better and better. Their Puerto Rico scenery, San Jose, sorry, that was released earlier this year, was very, very well done, and I did a nice review on that in case anyone missed it. They look like they're dolphins in the water here. So that looks like something new from LatinVFR as well. These animations with birds and dolphins. Very impressive. A nice little boat here, and here is the nice little house right underneath the approach. Very nicely done. Alright, let's head over into the airport, shall we? As a matter of fact, I see that that yacht has a helipad on it. Let's see if we can't land on that thing. My helicopter skills aren't that great, so I might crash. Let's see if we can land on it, if it's landable. I remember when Aerosoft first released their what was that program called? That Coast Guard program where you could place ships and land on them, and that was one of my favorite programs, and that's one of the ones where I just really learned how to how to fly helicopters, because I wanted so bad to learn how to land on a ship like that, and oh, it took me a long time to learn how to figure it out. Even to this day, I still try to practice, although I haven't installed that program in a long time. That was back in FS9 though, so I don't even know if that was compatible with FSX. It's a good question. I'm not ready to land yet. I need to get over it. Whoa, oh, oops, nope. Shoot. Come on, get over the H. Shoot. Here we go. Oh, nope, not quite. Need to go a little bit further. Well, that's not really much professional work there, but so yeah, the ship is landable. Pretty cool. How bad is that? Could have been a little bit further forward, huh? Very nice. Alright, let's take off and go see the airport. Whoa, what was that? Getting behind the seat there. Alright, there we are. Some rocks placed down there along the threshold. There's those birds. There's some options in the installer to place the static aircraft. One is the ATR, the other is the GA aircraft, and the other is a 767 sitting out here. This was that Air Italy. Is that a 200 by any chance? used to fly with an airline called MaxJet, and we operated 767-200s, and I know that Air Italy bought one of them. Yeah, it's definitely not this one though. That looks like a 300. Alright, so we should actually land the helicopter and go back to the external view so we can take a look at the airport. And there we go. And take a quick moment to see if there is any questions or comments. Matt says, do I think Orbix will start a SoCal package? Yes, they've already started it, my understanding is. And unlike FTX, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, and unlike New Zealand, I do believe they plan to fill Southern California up with a lot of airports. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I believe that's something that's on their 2015 roadmap. So I wouldn't expect that this year. To be honest, I'm just hoping that they're going to release FTX Norway this year. So we'll have to see, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to a lot of airports. In fact, I can tell you there's a lot of airports in Southern California. Some that I can mention, some that I can't. Obviously, we know John Wayne is in development. I can tell you that Burbank is in development, and I can't tell you who's developing it, but I can tell you that it's one of the better developers in the industry. So you guys will be very excited about that, I'm sure. So like I said, 29 Palms have mentioned that they're doing 29 Palms, which is literally a place in Southern California called 29 Palms. They're going to do that. And some other airports that I can't mention at this time, but you can definitely expect Southern California is going to have more airports coming along. So a very simple terminal for such a pretty island. Very small, very simple terminal. No fancy architecture there. But looks very nicely put together. Nice terminal texturing. I think they really captured the look of the concrete quite well. Aeropuerto de Roatan. Roatan. Is it Roatan? Roatan. So, looks very nice. And I can tell you the same developer doing Burbank is actually working on Milan Malpensa too, so a lot of really good stuff coming up in the near future. 2015 is going to be kick-ass. If you guys thought 2014 was good, and believe me, 2014 still has a number of tricks up its sleeve, 2015 is going to be killer. I wish I could mention some of the things coming along, but I can't. Now, this is one area that I'm going to really applaud LatinVFR. I am very, very proud. One of the things that I mentioned with Martinique is that it looked like cars were just parked on dirt. There's no real parking lot, nothing to really show that there's, that the cars are parked in some sort of order. Just a bunch of cars parked on dirt. Here they actually took the time and put in the parking lot. So, whereas a lot of people might think it's not a big deal, I think when you actually see it, you realize that, the difference that it makes. And I'm very, very impressed here. That's actually probably one of the better parking lots I think I've seen. I am very impressed. So, well done to the LatinVFR team. I'm very impressed with the quality of terminal textures. In fact, I'd go as far as to say these guys are starting to ring on the doorbell of 29 Palms. I really have Skiathos in mind as I take a look at, some of the quality here. And it looks like LatinVFR is really starting to get just that good. Even the quality of the cars are nice. So I am actually very impressed with some of what I'm seeing here. I like the quality of the trees. They have a very nice photoreal application on the island. Very, very well done. And that's a nice looking static aircraft too. I don't think I've seen a static that looks that good. So very well done. I love the ground textures. Lots of cracks and things. One of the things that I ripped the LatinVFR apart in the San Jose scenery here. San Jose, San Juan. What is that? Costa Rica. What am I missing here? My brain is starting to shut down. It's getting late for me. But one of the things I ripped them apart on was the quality of the ground textures, and I felt the quality of the ground textures weren't that great. And they really have made the turnaround here. I mean, everything here just looks spectacular. Everything. Really, really like the ground textures. Now, once you get outside the airport, it gets a little bit lighter, but again, much like TropicalSim, there's no fencing. So I'm a little disappointed that there's no fencing here. So I'd like to, you know, it's like they're getting so close. They're doing a terrific job. They really are. I just forgot about the fences, guys. Otherwise, looks terrific. Take a look at this very interesting looking fire truck here. It's a very nice looking. It's probably one of the better looking fire trucks I've seen. Looks like there's no glass there though. They did the sort of the modeling of it, but looks like there's no glass on it. Very good looking fire truck. Nice power lines. I mean, they did do some fences here. I can see that there's some fences out there. But again, just looking at the quality of the terminal, the quality of the groundwork, the parking lot area, I mean, this is really kind of knocking on 29 Palms' door here. Just looking at the quality, I mean, the roof quality, everything. They're putting a much more detail. They're having a much better keen eye for detail, I think, than ever before. So I really do want to applaud LatinVFR in their effort here. I mean, look at those ground textures, the pebbles. I don't know what you call that, but this sort of groundwork here, but stones, very nice. I mean, there's dirt here. I mean, just the imagery is just, it's impeccable. So I'm really impressed. I really want to say good job to LatinVFR on here. And then you couple that with the fact that it looks like they did the entire island. In fact, let's go to high elevation and just try to get a look at the entire island. But yes, I do believe they did. So just cruising along the coast there, some nice custom autogen there. Ooh, look at that. Arr, matey, a pirate ship. Nice. When I visited Amsterdam, they have a museum there called the Shipvaart Museum, and they actually didn't have any original ships that were built there for the Dutch East India Trading Company, but they did have one ship that was basically a, I guess, a mock-up. They basically just built one so that you could see what the ships were like, and you can walk on it and visit the captain's quarters and the bridge and all that, and you really get a feel of what it was like to be on a ship like that. And those ships were cramped. I mean, once you go below decks, it's like being in something out of Disneyland or something. It's really funny how, you know, narrow the doors are and how low the ceilings are, and it's really, really interesting. Kind of claustrophobic even, but Very, very interesting, those old ships. But yeah. So the island goes pretty far. In fact, this is going to take forever to go out there. I think I'll slew instead of fly out there. But I am curious of how much coverage the island has. And yeah, they went all the way out. Wow. They really covered the whole thing. And there's a second island here. Looks like they took care of this one as well. In fact, I'm just going to land on this little island here and take any questions. And there's another island out there, but I don't think that's a part of this product, but we will take a look. And they even took the time to do the water masking and added the photoreal water textures out here. And this island is pretty far off from the airport, but they did it anyway. So indeed, I am very impressed with the efforts from LatinVFR in this product. I am very impressed. This is going to be a nice VFR flying too. I mentioned the NGX out of San Diego, but I think just on a VFR perspective, I think this is going to be a lot of fun just to visit this island. Just going to land right on that patch of green over there. So yeah, I think I'll be looking to some more islands in this part of the Caribbean. And keep in mind, LatinVFR also did Cozumel, and I think we have a review on that one on AirDailyX. And besides Cozumel, Taxi to Gate has some islands out here too. I think a couple they did. One of these days we're just gonna have to, I'm gonna have to put together like a nice island hop stream and visit all of these islands. Jeez, it's like taking me forever to land here. Alright, let's bring that nose up. So again, I'm really impressed that they took the time to do all these islands. This looks very nice. Alright, we just hit the pause button, take a look at any other comments. And Met says, you're a ramp lead in Burbank and have been dying for new scenery. You know, Met, if you can send me a email, I don't know if you're able to take any photos, but I've actually made my way out there. The last time I went out there, I actually had to visit Fry's, and Fry's is really close to Burbank. So I tried to take some shots, but wasn't able to get much. But I know that the developers are looking to get as much imagery as possible. So if you think you're able to assist with that, especially since you work on the ramp, that would actually be seriously helpful. So if you think you would be, definitely shoot me an email. Because I know the developer is looking to get as much imagery as possible. So, okay. And Rolia says, those forests are just FTX Global with patches of photoreal scenery. The blending is amazing, though. And yeah, Palucchio's noting my ocean animation. That is actually kind of weird. It was animating really heavily earlier, and now I'm not seeing it. Let me take a quick look at my settings here. Special effects details are high. Water details are high. I don't know why. My ocean textures seem to just gone wanky on me. I had huge waves earlier. Oh, you know what? I know why. I can tell you why right now. Hang on. I can give you some ocean waves. Hang on. I can tell you exactly why. Because there is no wind. So in order to do that, I need to give you wind. So let's bring up, let's say 16 knots wind. And now you'll be able to see some waves, I think. Let's see. I think maybe it's because there was no, if there's no wind, then the oceans won't animate. So now you see there's a pretty big difference. You got to have wind in order to have waves, obviously. And I didn't have any wind on. So now as we get closer to the water, you'll be able to see now there's waves. See that? And I don't think you get waves like this in FSX. This is really a prepared thing. Prepared in Rex, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, just out of curiosity, let me turn the winds up to maximum and just see how high we can get those waves going. Hang on a second. Display, weather, customize. Let's go to severe, 36 knots. I don't even think I can fly the helicopter at 36 knots. But let's just take a look and see how high the waves get now. Holy shit! Wow, that's freaky. Oh my god, that's freaky. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Those are some scary waves. Wow, look at that. So this is what turning up the waves to severe gets you. These really crazy waves. Whoa. So yeah, this is the P3D new wave system. You don't get this in FSX, and of course the wave textures and everything comes courtesy of Rex for Texture Direct. And I think, again, I did see someone ask what settings I have, and I'll try to take a minute so that you guys can see that as well. Damn, those are some serious waves, isn't it? Wow, that's pretty sick. Let's go to high elevation, see what it looks like. So hopefully now that answered your question. Whoever asked that question about the waves, who was that? I don't remember. Someone asked. But anyway, now you see. And from higher elevation, you can really get an even stronger idea of what the waves look like now. So yeah, that's why we didn't have any waves, because there was no wind to blow them. So now that the wind is here, you can now see that the waves are animated. Alright, so back to the airport again, so we can take a look at the night shots. There we are, and then I just gotta wait a second for the scenery to reload. So let's see. And Pelucio's saying he hopes Burbank will be released this year. Actually, last I spoke to the developer, it looks like they are planning something for Christmas. So, but you can't quote me on that. But I think that they are planning to get it out before the end of the year. I believe so. But we'll just have to, time will tell. And the only reason I can tell you that is because the information is on the AirDailyX billboard, and that's from permission from the developer, obviously. Like I said, there are products that I know about in development that I just can't talk about at all. So for those of you who actually go through the entire list, you'll see stuff on there that I have not talked about at all, either via a stream or via the news page. So you really have to just look at the the entire billboard and take a look at what's on there, and you'll be amazed at some of the things that are on there that I haven't mentioned. So, and that's because certain developers, they actually want their products there, even though they themselves are not announcing it, and they probably don't really want anyone to know who's developing it, but they put them up there just to get a feel that other people know, you know, what's in development. So, and of course I don't put it out there unless I have proof. So there you go. Now, the only thing with AI traffic is it looks like the AI boats don't really move with the waves, huh? So the waves are like washing right over these boats. The waves are just kind of washing right over it. But I wonder, I'm actually curious to get into a water aircraft and see just how my own aircraft would flow over these waves. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm just going to switch aircraft real quick because I am kind of curious of how that would work. We'll do that, then we'll go to night lighting, and then we'll pretty much wrap up here. I'll just go to Windows so you guys don't get left with a blank screen. Select vehicle. I just need a small float plane. Okay, let's take a look at Coronado. Let's see, what floats? Coronado. Nope, not a C90, not a Phenom, not a Mooney. Definitely not a Malibu, not a Seneca. C120, no. I need something that's going to float. Centurion, no. Skyhawk. I don't think any of these are going to have floaters, do they? Oh, those are the default crap. Shoot. Skylane. Isn't there a Skylane with floaters in here somewhere? Shoot, I can't remember. C206. Amphibian, here we go. Alright, let's see if that will float. What? Oh, hang on a second. I gotta shoot. Hang on. I need to turn on FSUI PC. There we go. Okay, here we go. I am curious of how aircraft are handled with these high waves. That is a very good question. And these waves are bloody high too. I mean, naturally, you wouldn't land an aircraft in waves like this anyway. I mean, you would, any airport would have, well, check this out. You can see where the waves don't come over this entire area here, huh? How they kind of brush up against that. That's kind of odd. Would have a breakwater so that you don't land anything like that. But I'm just curious how user aircraft interacts with waves like this. Let's just see. I've never turned the waves up like this before, so this is kind of my first time seeing this myself. Oh. Alright, what's going to happen now? So it just washes right over my plane, it looks like. Yeah. You know what, though? Let me turn on the bathroomy here real quick. Hang on, guys. Let's see what it looks like with bathroomy. Where is it? Scenery, bathroomy. Let's just see. I'm very curious. Would we go underwater now? How does that work? So it just kind of floats there. and there's the bathroom. So you can go under the water, but why does the sky get black like that though? That's weird. So you can go under the water, but the whole plane just goes underwater then, and that's it. Yeah. So it probably looks good from high, but I don't think you want to get too low to the water with waves like this. That's kind of ridiculous. In fact, let's turn down the waves to something a little bit more reasonable. Let's see, weather. Let's just take it down to light. Yeah, see, this is a little bit this is a little bit more believable here. Yeah, that's better. So anyway, we can go under the water and see, but yeah. So anyway, that is that, and let's go into the airport now and see those night lights. Are those like some Mayan structures there? It looks like, kind of interesting structures. So it's a very nice island. I'm actually quite impressed with the work that they did here. Alright, let's take a look at the ground textures now. I mean the night textures. And then I'm gonna call it a night, folks. So that's 3 airports covered today. Let's see, is my airplane going to get caught in this ditch here? Let's see. Boom. Not quite. Okay, let's take a look at the night textures. Wait a minute, look at that. Is that the control tower way up there on the hill like that? Look at that. I just noticed that. The control tower is way up there. Interesting. Alright. Let's see the night lights. Time preview. Almost there. Look at that moon right over the water. Romantic. Look at that. That's romantic, isn't it? Okay. Alright, we're just going to slew on outside of our airplane here. And just get a little bit of a close-up of some of the night lighting here on the terminal building. Again, these textures are some of the best textures I think I've ever seen from LatinVFR. So I am really impressed with the work that they've done here. This is probably some of the best work that I think they've ever done. I mean, you can clearly see that they've put a lot of effort into the detail with this airport, and I think it's paid off very well. I mean, just the quality, the cracks in the building, you know, the quality of the, look at that depth. I am really impressed. LatinVFR is stepping up their game. They are really stepping up their game. As far as runway lighting goes, pretty much similar to the other airport, Martinique. Just simple runway sight lights, no center lighting, no lead-in lights or anything like that. There's probably not even any night operations probably going on out here. So one downside though is that there doesn't seem to be any lighting for the city here. Where are the lights for the streets and for the houses? You can see some of the houses have lights that turn on, but there's no lights for the streets. That's a disappointment. But I don't know, maybe one of those Aerosoft night environment, whatever they call it, will cover, you know, maybe some of these islands and give it, you know, a better look perhaps. But the nighting was definitely done better on the TropicalSim version. So if you're gonna have the photoreal like this though, you want to be able to see the streets and the lights and stuff. So you can see some of the houses light up, but there's nothing really that shows where streets are. Some lights that run along here, but that's about it. Or it could be, hang on a second, let me just apply the night light and see if any street lighting comes on. And Met747, the email, if you just go to airdailyx.net and click on the contact link at the bottom of the page, I'll show that to you and you can contact me via there. So yeah, as far as night lighting goes, not too much. Not too much. But nevertheless, I think it's a terrific effort from LatinVFR, and I'm really impressed with this one. So, gonna have to do a write-up on that. Okay, folks. There was a question about my Rex textures. We're going to cover that really quickly. And let's see, where is Rex? MNO Rex. I just saw it. Rex 4 Texture Direct. I think actually they're supposed to be releasing some updates pretty soon too. So, and there's Texture Direct coming online. Okay. Oh, look at that. There is an update. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that right now. So let's just take a look at my textures. Or do they even tell me? What do I have selected right now? I'm guessing whatever is green means that's what I have selected. Nope, that's not what that means. I don't think this is going to tell me. Take a look at themes. Oh, here are my themes. Okay, so oops, oh shoot. Okay, so we have high level clouds is what is the effect? Sky dust, sun effect. So we're using set 15 for the high level clouds. For low level clouds, I'm using set 1, Nimbostratus Panis. For lightning, we've got set 1 Dual Strike. For sky colors, set to humid for the dawn textures. Day textures is woodlands. Oops, we already saw that. Dust textures is clear. Sun effects is set to set number 8. I gotta be honest, those guys at Rex really know how to take screenshots. Jeez. And global water is set to bright clear coral. Water waves. Oh wait. Global water. Oh, wave animation. Here we go. And I have clashing waves, so I have a really powerful wave animation here. So I actually might change my wave animation at some point. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these. You have cinematic, distant caps, clashing waves, which is what I have, glimmer, constant, which is experimental. It says calm, active. I think I might actually change mine to like ripple wind, sporadic swells, gradual. I don't know. See, there's so many options here. It's kind of hard to What was that one? Glimmer. Maybe I'll try Glimmer. I don't know. See, that's the problem. I'll sit here and look at this crap all day and not know. So let's just not change anything. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. New community theme has been shared by Gonzo. Cancel. I'm not doing anything right now. All right, so that is pretty much it, guys. Hopefully that answered any questions that you may have had. Let's see, any other questions? Cool. So yeah, Matt, shoot me an email. Oh, I was going to show you. Yeah, if you just hit that contact button, where is it? Windows. Go back to AirDailyX real quick. And there's a bunch of links at the bottom of every page. So right there it says contact. Just hit that contact button. Shoot me an email, and I'll get in contact with the developer. And if they're good with it, I'll put you directly in contact with the developer as well. And you know, maybe they'll make it worth your while, put you on the beta team or something like that. So we'll have to see. But yeah, definitely shoot me an email. And that would be great. Other than that, let's see, any other questions? That looks like that's about it. So, hey, Met747, have you ever been to Burbank's House of Hobbies out there on, is it Victory? Victory and, where's House of Hobbies? That's where I buy a lot of my 400 scale aircraft models. It's on Victory Boulevard and Alameda. I think is it Alameda? I think it's like Victory and Alameda, somewhere around there, right off the 5 freeway. If you've not been there, you should definitely go check it out. Burbank's House of Hobbies. They got some really cool stuff in there. I love that place. I'm in there all the time, so definitely check that out. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Hopefully tonight's stream was useful. Not too many joining tonight, but again, every now and then it's just good to do kind of a bit of a later stream for everyone who can't come in the early mornings, which is when I do it my time. And then of course this stream will be available tomorrow for anyone who didn't get to catch it in its entirety or anyone who missed it. I'll make sure that this is made available for you. Okay. Oh yeah, so you guys are aware of Burbank's House of Hobbies. Yeah, that place is awesome. All right, so anyway, that's gonna pretty much do it for me here. Again, always glad to have you aboard, and I'll probably do another stream again tomorrow morning. I have to go through and see what else was released and what else. I think the next one is the France scenery from Dreamflight. So I think that one's next on my list, and I'll have to get that going tomorrow. So look for that. Otherwise, everyone have a great evening. If it's morning or afternoon for you, have a wonderful day. And remember, airdailyx.net. And you guys take care. And again, thanks for hanging out. It's always fun. Take care. Have a good one.